Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Now, in her desperation to raise taxes, Rachel the Genius Reeves is planning to introduce a landfill tax. This would be a tax payable for rubbish that goes to landfill. It's kind of in the name, isn't it? But this is now being criticised immediately because the construction industry is saying that this tax would add about £24,000 on the cost of a new home, at least. And when you're trying to end the homelessness crisis in this country, adding £24,000 to the cost of a home isn't really going to help. So please don't do it, they're saying. They fear that this, frankly, insane proposal would see a 36-fold increase in charges. They've claimed it's a development killer, because if you're thinking it's £24,000 per house, if you're putting up 10 houses, that's £250,000, and so forth. It scales up. If you're building 100 houses, as some sites are, it's £24 million. It just can't be got back. It's just too much. The fears come after, they're vowing to build 300,000 houses a year. Now, you multiply 300,000 by 24,000, well, it's just, £7.5 billion of what? Tax. But she won't get that. She's thinking, I will get £7.5 billion of tax. No, you won't. You really won't. The reason you won't is because nobody's going to build a house, you stupid woman. What is wrong with these people? Do they not understand what they're doing? They don't. She's someone who lied on her CV and everyone believed the lie. Well, that's no longer the case. Nobody believes it now. At the moment, you can get away with something like £4 a tonne. I seem to remember. It's about £4 a tonne for topsoil. It rises, it's about £8 a tonne for domestic. It goes up quite a lot for construction, but no more than about £12 a tonne, something like that. And so when you're like building a house and you're looking at what you're taking away and moving and shifting and so forth, from my days, I don't know what it is exactly now. When I was in the construction industry, we would pay £550 per house, more or less, I think it was, on landfill shift, as we called it, the shift. It can't be that much more, 600, 700, 800, maybe £800, something like that. I don't know, allowed for inflation, it's maybe £800 now. But raising it from £800 to £24,000 is clearly madness. And no one is going to buy a house if £24,000 of the cost of the house is just putting shifting in stuff into landfill. It's ridiculous. You can't begin to understand how dumb an idea this is. It will absolutely destroy house building. People aren't going to do it. They're just not going to build. They're going to go, no, well, we look at this. Council want that, blah, blah, blah. The only way we can sell these houses is if we charge £500,000 for them, because we've still got to make our profit and pay our wages and so forth. So these houses that would have been £300,000 before this government gets involved in everything are now going to be £500,000. It's madness. It's almost as though we've got a bunch of absolute retards playing at government. And I'm not convinced that we don't. I mean, clearly she is a retard. She is clearly retarded. She is clearly very low IQ, very, very stupid, has fallen upwards into a position for which she's quite incapable. I mean, we are talking dumb. We're talking, simian level of IQ. But with everything else going up, and of course the other thing is so many house building products come in from abroad. They're becoming more expensive too. Everything is becoming more expensive because labour. The house building industry in this government in this country may very well shrink to maybe half of its present levels, simply through government policy. And this is everywhere. And then you've got Rayner going, I'm going to build 500,000 houses a year, or whatever you figure it. What? No, you're not. You're just not. Makes you wonder if it's not deliberate. Makes you wonder if she's doing it simply to screw Rayner. Wouldn't put that past them, would you? But it is absolutely madness. Now, the average new build in this country now is what, £350,000, something like that? If you have a 10% deposit, you've got to have 34,000. So you're looking at basically getting a mortgage for £310,000. To do that, you'd need to have an income, a joint income in the house of about £100,000. How many people do you know have a joint income of £100,000? It's weird, isn't it? Maybe 75,000 if you're going to go for a 4 times joint. But even then, it's still pushing it. There's not that many that will have £75,000 income. Let me know what you think, because I think this is just the sheer unfettered madness. I don't honestly think... I mean, I do know people with that, but you know, most of the people I know don't have a joint household income of 100,000, put it that way. I say I know 1 or 2, not many. But fewer homes, higher demand. It will drive prices of homes up even more. And still the little boats come. And still the councils are giving the houses to the immigrants. I've got a story about that one coming up later. Do hit the subscribe button. It's folly. It is sheer folly. And there is literally nothing they can do. The whole industry is falling and falling over itself now because it's desperate. And of course, with the rises in the employers and NI, that's adding costs. And wait until the Unemployment Rights Bill comes in, Rayner's wonderful pro-union piece of turd legislation. Every sector is going to die on its arse, but construction is the most important sector in any economy. The construction industry is the key industry in an economy, and they're doing their absolute best to destroy it. And when it goes, it's going to take the whole of Britain with it. She doesn't understand that because, like I say, she's dumb. Nobody understands that. Construction is king. Without the construction industry, nothing happens. But, you know, it's just madness. Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know if you can think of a better way of building houses other than just leaving builders to get on with it. And I'll speak to you later. Bye.